All right. This question says to construct the frequency table for the following data. Use 0.9 point bins, include columns for the relative frequency and cumulative frequency. Now I've gone ahead and set the table up ahead of time. This 0.9 point bins could seem confusing at first. So I'll explain this. First, let's look for the numbers that are between 2 and 2.9. Now thankfully this is already in order, so we can see that we're going to start from 2 and we're going to stop before we hit 3. Okay, so 2.9 being just a little bit less than 3. So the first group is going to be the numbers I underlined in red. And we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries. And that's what we enter as our frequency next to this first group that says 2 to 2.9. Our next group is going to be everything between 3 and 3.9. So we're going to start from the 3, but don't include 4 or higher, just these numbers. And we can see we have 1, 2, 3 numbers. That's what we'll enter here. Now our next grouping is going to be 4 to 4.9, so we're going to start at 4 and go up until we hit 5. Don't include any of the 5s. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. And we'll place that here. Our next grouping is going to start from 5 to 5.9, so we'll start at 5 here and stop before we hit 6. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries again. And then our final group is going to be the 6s. We're out of numbers now, and we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. Those are our frequencies. All we have to do now to get the total is do a sum formula of our frequencies. So we'll say equals sum of the frequencies. And we'll get 25. We'll paint that gold because we'll use that again later. So that takes care of the frequency. But now to get the relative frequency, we take the frequency divided by the sum that we got in gold. So for relative, we'll say equals, click the frequency, and divide by the total. Now we need to tell Excel that that total will always be 25. The frequency is going to change as we work our way down the table, but that total will always be 25. To tell Excel this, we put a $ before the C and after the C. This gives us 0.2. I'll type the directions for that over here. To tell Excel that the total will always be 25, we put $ before and after the letter after we click on it in Excel. So our relative frequency, we said, was this cell, C9, divided by the total, C14. However, we have to tell Excel that C14 is the total, and we write it as $C $14 instead. And this tells Excel the total will not change. Now, the good news here is now that we've done this, we can use the black cross to calculate the other relative frequencies. Now, if you forget the $ on the C14 and you try to black cross it anyway, you're going to start getting some weird answers. Most likely, Excel is going to throw an error because it thinks you're trying to change the total along with the number on top. We need to make sure Excel doesn't do that. So we're putting $ before and after the letter to tell it to keep the denominator there. Keep C14 right there. Don't try to move it. But when we black cross, notice that we went from C9 and now it says C10 and now it says C11. We're allowing the frequency to change, but not the total. Now, when you're finished, you can still do a sum here, and you should get exactly 1 for your relative frequencies when you're finished, which we do. That's good. Now, to get the cumulative, your first cumulative frequency is just whatever frequency we had for that row. Since we have 5 here, we put 5 here. Our next cumulative frequency is the number above plus the frequency to the left. So for this one that's blank right now, we're going to say equals the number above plus this frequency in C10 on the left. We can continue in the next box by clicking the number above, add the number on the left. And we can continue this process again and again. The last cumulative frequency should be 25, which is the total from the frequency column. So all right, that's what we got here. That's what we should have, along with a relative frequency of 1.